Hey guys, happy to be here. Today I want to talk about what you gotta say or how you gotta feel to your fans. The people who are hating on you. To the naysayers, to those who like to put others down instead of push them up. Right? Those who put their God-given energy and they work really hard to being keyboard warriors. In the comment section, those guys who go off and put all their energy into doing that, and say negative things. Your words are background noise for the people who are getting it done, for those who are doing the most. So that's kind of just a preface, but it's never easy, because it's never easy. Doing something, posting something online, regardless of what it is, because it puts you in a position where you're feeling very vulnerable with yourself, with the things that you put out there, right? Fear of looking dumb, the fear of looking like an idiot, looking like you don't know what you're doing. You're put in a spot where you put out your best and you're left to kind of leaves you to be easily judged, and it's not easy, right? And a few things that keeps me personally from remembering that the haters should be a source for you, a source of energy to push you to do more instead of making you feel down and pull back what you're doing, is the idea where when you're usually creating something, you do it for yourself. I'm doing this for me. Maybe you'll get something out of this, maybe you won't. I'm not sure. I'm hoping you do, but this is more for me, doing it for myself. And so let's imagine that you're putting out you have zero content, you have no content. This is your first time putting something out, right? And it really is our first time for some of us, right? We've especially the guys who are out there, them very well, they've had a first time too, right? It's not an uncommon thing, right? It's very common to have to go through something your first time, especially if you're trying to be good at it. But let's say this is your first time, right? And for all of us, at one point it was, but you're doing something completely out of your comfort zone. You're not used to it. You're, a little shy, and you're feeling ways about it, right? And if it's not out of your comfort zone, then we can easily say that you're one of the lucky few who are comfortable with that. That's a gift, because not all of us feel that way when we're doing something for the first time. And so there's a lot to learn, right? Especially when you're going through it or in the beginning, right? You have zero content, no one really knows who you are, so maybe you don't have much to lose. But when you look at it realistically, you have a lot to gain, right? You got a lot of confidence. You can get a lot of confidence when it comes to talking to people or an audience, right? Or even like a black screen like this one right here, right? Beautiful little iris that is just staring back at you, right? And you'll get better. You'll get better at talking, taking what's in your head, right, and moving it into someone else's head, because that's the idea. I think that's one of the hard parts, or at least for me, that's something that I struggle with. I realize I go on too many tangents and talk too long sometimes, right? But that's okay, because I'm only gonna get better at it, right? That's the idea. And so let's say, where was I? And yeah, taking something that's in your head, painting the picture into someone else's head, right? Maybe you'll get comments that you can learn from, right? Which is kind of the beauty with comments. They're kind of like a cheat sheet for feedback, right? Maybe they'll pick you apart. Yeah, maybe there'll be some nuggets that they're really just chucking these rock nuggets at your head, and it hurts. It hurts to take these, right? But then you look down and you realize that these nuggets that they chucked at your head, those are nuggets of gold, right? They hurt, yeah, but you look down, you pick it up. Hey man, there's something valuable here, right? That's an amazing thing, to be able to take a hurtful comment, right? Maybe it could be something like, oh, you talk too much, you take too long to get to the point. Even though some of those things may be true, right? You look down, you pick it up, and you can learn to get to the point faster. You could learn to maybe not go on such a big tangent, or be able to reconnect it back to the beginning. Make it easier, right? To kind of keep us following along with the thought process that you have going on in your head. And you can learn those different things from these comments, right? Maybe it's something with your voice, like, I don't know, oh, his voice is too high pitched, or it's too low, and you know what I mean? Like, there's always a little something that you can take from these little nuggets. And you know, if you feel like that these things are attacking you, right, you can learn to be resilient from these comments, right? There's always a level of thick skin that you can get to, where you are feeling really confident with yourself, extremely comfortable, and that's kind of an amazing thing, right? Because not everyone's going to be nice. That's okay. Such is the nature of being human, right? And so earlier in the year, I was at an event, and a speaker spoke about how when you're just getting started, when you're just getting the ball rolling with something that you really want to do, and you know it's for the betterment of yourself, and you're on the climb, right? The people around you will have a lot to say. The people around you will have a lot to say. And some will be supportive, which is an amazing thing. You know, don't take that for granted. Because for some people, they don't get any support, right? But so that's really nice. But you know, majority will doubt you, they'll discourage you, maybe they'll even talk behind your back, right? And it's important that you don't get upset with that, right? Something that he spoke about that I try to keep in mind now is, you know, because they're just so used to being who you've been and not who you want to be, like who you're trying to be, right? They're so used to who you've been, the past you, and they can't see the future you. They're like, oh man, no, there's no way you're gonna do that. There's no way you're gonna do. How can you do that? You've never done that. But guess what? You're gonna give yourself enough proof to show that you can do that. They just don't see it yet, and that's okay. They just haven't seen it. But then once they do see it, then the story will change. Oh man, he's done that. Yeah, amazing. Like I know he can do it again, right? And that's the whole idea. They just haven't seen it, and so it's important not to get upset because of that. And the climb that you're on is changing you. It's molding you to be somebody that they don't know, right? So maybe they're just so used to being somebody, maybe they're just so used to being, to you, being somebody that, you know, they don't go out much, or they're used to partying with you, and all of a sudden you're not drinking anymore, you know? And the people that do that to you, you know, if they offer you any advice, this is the important thing. They offer you any advice that isn't helping you or pushing you towards where you're trying to go, don't completely dismiss it. You know, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe there's a lesson there. But they're not doing what you're doing. And so they don't know what it takes. They don't know what it takes. And they don't know the suffering that you're enduring or you're going to endure, because let's be real, change hurts, right? And so keep moving forward, right? The only advice from people that you should really be receiving is the people who are doing what you're trying to do. The people that you're trying to imitate, because you're doing it yourself, you're really doing it. Those are the people whose advice you should be taking, right? Because if they're not doing it, what can they say? They're not doing it. They don't know how it is. They don't know how hard it is. So, you know, the whole idea was that if they're not in the arena, what advice can they give that's valid? Right? And I think that's something that you should ponder on. Usually, if you know the person, then you can kind of judge that for yourself. But still, take it with a grain of salt. Don't completely dismiss what other people say, because there's always something you can still learn from it. And so I hope with what I shared with you today, I hope it's helped you, you know, think about doing the thing that you've been wanting to do, or keep doing the thing that you've been doing for yourself, right? Because it's not for everyone, it's not for anyone else but you. And because everyone's got to go through the valleys to get through the peaks, right? Usually the people around you mostly see you in your valleys, right? And then when they see you at your peaks, they try to pull you down, crabs in a bucket idea. But not everyone's gonna do that, which is cool. But again, I hope that what I shared with you today will push you to keep doing what you've been doing, to do better, to go after the person that you've been meaning to be. Because I don't know, you just gotta get out there. You just gotta do those things for yourself. If you're just getting started, you've got nothing to lose. You seriously got nothing to lose. And you've got everything to gain. It's been Kyle.